Hey, Kevin here, top 1 financial advisor and best-selling author, and we are here to talk about the stock market. Today, I want to answer questions that y'all ask, and as you always know, when you ask good questions in the comments, I try to make good videos. So if you comment on public or if you comment here on YouTube or Instagram, I take those, we make videos, we discuss, and we all learn together. So today's question was, what is a CFP? Why is it important? What does it matter? And what is the fiduciary standard or fiduciary duty? So the CFP is a designation. It stands for Certified Financial Planner. It is known as the gold standard for people who manage assets and make financial plans for people. If I were going to use an advisor or a financial planner rather to take hold of my financial situation and make sure that I'm on track, I would probably look for someone who has the CFP or another specialization in what I'm looking to do. I'll get into a few of those near the end of the video. Again, I mentioned that it is, the gold standard. The reason why this is because you have to follow the fiduciary standard. Fiduciary standard is what really should just be commonplace and should have always been a standard. But essentially that is when you go into a bank or to your financial planning place, even on a website, they are supposed to do what is in the best interest of you, the client, not themselves. The reason why that is a thing is because in some instances, and I know this from seeing it up close in person, where you would sit down, right, and I would tell you, well, hey, you need to invest in this mutual fund, you need to get this life insurance policy, and in reality, that advisor or that person is telling you to do that because they get paid more and you get whatever it is that you get, which is not the fiduciary standard. That's doing what's best for me in my pockets and my sales goals and not doing what is best for you, the client. However, when you have the CFP designation, to retain the designation, you must follow that standard and disclose any conflicts of interest and say, look, I'm telling you that you need to do this. I get paid exactly this much. You take that information, you do what you want to do with it, or say, look, you don't pay me anything, or you pay me a flat fee, which is why people say fee-only financial planners or fee-only CFP, is that you pay me $500, I'm going to give you the best plan possible regardless of what type of investment I'm telling you about or what type of insurance policy I'm telling you about, because I'm not getting compensated from anybody except for you, and the fee doesn't change. When you're not following that fiduciary standard, or the advisor or the planner that you are working with does not follow that fiduciary standard, then they can tell you whatever it is they want to tell you, and that can be an issue. So that's why the CFP is that gold standard. I believe, at least last time I checked, you had to have at least 3 years of experience. You had to pass a very rigorous exam, and they usually cover insurance, general financial planning, investment management. They don't really cover debt management as much, so not like the budgeting cash flow type thing, but again, insurance, retirement, investment planning, and a few other areas. Estate planning is another big one as well. And all those areas are important for your overall financial life, which is why as a financial planner, not an investment manager. Now, usually, depending on who the person is, a CFP can do many of those things. And again, as a designation, it is not necessarily a requirement. Now, if you, because most of us here are looking to invest, to start to learn how to invest and do better as investors, you as an individual, if you're looking to invest, you do not need a CFP, you do not need a degree, a CPA, certified public accountant. You don't need none of that. You just need to be here and you need to invest for long term. If you want to have someone to help manage your money and say, look, this is what I'm doing. I want you to figure out how much should I save for college? How should I withdraw from my accounts? Am I on track? Do I need life insurance? How much do I need to save for my kids' college? All that type of stuff, you probably want some advice or want somebody to help plan that for you. That's where a CFP comes in handy. For example, or another example, a CFP may be able to help me with taxes if they have tax experience, but if I'm looking for tax help, I want to go to an accountant, and hopefully my accountant has the highest standard, and I want them to have a CPA or a CFP and a CPA, certified public accountant, and I don't want to get too many designations and jargon thrown at your way, but also an enrolled agent, which is an EA. You don't have to have all these letters behind your name, but it kind of gives that person a perceived level of, and perceived and actual, if you will, level of professionalism, and level of understanding of that particular topic. So a lot of times it makes you feel better, and it also forces that person to know ins and outs. It's kind of the proof that I know and you know your stuff, because them exams were not easy to pass. The same thing with someone with a master's degree in finance or just a regular degree in finance. You went through some things, whether it's 4 years, 5 years, or 6 years. You know what you're talking about. At least you're supposed to. Otherwise, you wouldn't have made it through those exams and those courses and things like that. So, again, the CFP is just a designation. It is not required as an investor. However, if it were someone who is managing money for me and that person is in charge of planning my entire life, not my entire life, my financial life, then I would probably want someone to do that. Do I have the CFP designation? No, because I don't manage clients anymore. And I don't feel like managing clients or taking tests anymore. I went, got my master's, I'm done. I am done with that. However, if I were to start my own firm, not for teaching, not for doing this type of stuff, but to actually, manage money, have clients, help them to invest on a physical basis where like I'm looking at your account, which I don't do right now, then yeah, we'll probably go through that entire process and start from scratch. But that ain't my role. Comes with a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not sure. A lot of compliance. That's the word. A lot of compliance on what you can and cannot say on camera, in articles, and all that kind of stuff. And I prefer to be real and straight and just say whatever it is like I say without all the strings attached. Very similar to other designations and licenses that you have to pass. All mine have lapsed. Thank God, because when I was in the chair, when I say in the chair as a financial advisor, really couldn't talk all that much about what's going on in the market. There are a lot of regulations where I couldn't like certain posts if it had to do with the stock market. I was like, this is not fun. So that's behind the scenes of what it's like to be a planner, to be an advisor, and what the designation means. So again, certified financial planner, the gold standard for people in the industry. It requires you to have the fiduciary duty, and I think it is very well-rounded if you're talking about planning someone's financial life. Do you need a CFP to be successful? No, you don't need it, but I think there is a benefit to having that experience around you. Meaning, a certified financial planner, just like myself when it comes to just investing only, I've seen success, I've seen failure, dozens and dozens and dozens of times. And I know for a fact what works from experience. I know it works from a data perspective, right? That I know. Okay, there's no questioning what works and what doesn't work because I've seen it play out. So for me, right, you can learn from it, whether you're in a class, an investor's toolkit, or here learning on a channel or something like that. I've done it, right? So I know, again, what works and what doesn't work. And you only get one chance to do it, right? You have one life. Maybe you have multiple income, I would hope, right? But you have one life, one portfolio, and one chance, and that's it. And you want to optimize that as many times as you can and reduce those mistakes other people may have made or people who have been in your situation. So it is a benefit to you, if you ask me, it's a benefit to you to watch the channel, sign up for courses, because I can take all that stuff that I've seen people do and that I've done for myself and take all this research and say, boom, these are the best strategies for you, so you don't have to pay for that mistake. Well, the same thing happens with the certified financial planner, because they've planned dozens and dozens and dozens, or have created dozens and dozens of plans, and people who are similar, who could be similar in your situation. So instead of, let's say, leaving a job, taking a different salary, and saving for a home, and also you have kids, how do you make sure that you have all this stuff paid for and have enough money to do whatever it is you're supposed to be doing or you want to do? Well, if you make a mistake, that could cost you tens of thousands of dollars down the line. But having someone who can help you plan that most efficiently can ride all that stuff out for you. For example, now wrap this long point up by doing this. This is what I know from the planning world, right? We just bought a house. We talked about it before. And we have 2 children. Our daughter is 1 year old. That means for me, from a financial planning perspective, that there are a few things that I need to do. One, I need to change my life insurance for 2 reasons. One, should something happen to me, I want to make sure that my life is insured to a level of where the home value is. Why is that? If something happens to me, then it only leaves my wife, who has 1 income and not 2, to take care of all the family stuff. Okay, this is planning, it's financial planning and strategy, right? Number two, we have a daughter now. So the insurance level that I was when I had one child and one wife, now I have two children and the same wife. So something needs to change to make sure that should something happen to me, everybody and everything is still taken care of, whether it's paying for college or what have you. All this stuff, changing my beneficiaries, that's estate planning. All these things that I know just from having gone through CFP courses, being an advisor, like doing all that stuff. You might not know that, right? So instead of going through it and not understanding it and making a mistake, you can have a certified financial planner help guide you through the way. It's not required. You can read up on all this stuff on your own. You can sit for the exam if you choose to. You can take courses. You can do all this stuff and do it yourself if you want to, but that's a lot of work. And if you can afford it, which there are a lot of financial practices that are low fee and no fee at all, where you can get to, you get access to people pro bono. YouTube is another decent place, depending on who you're talking to or whose videos you're watching. You can do this on your own. So it totally up to you, right? And your complexity. Another question I get is at what level, at what point, maybe it's an income level or something like that, at what point do I need to talk to a financial planner? I don't feel like I have enough money to really talk to one. One, there is no income level. You don't have to wait and hit a certain level to start to talk to somebody. But I think when things start to get complex, once you get married, I think that was one scenario. If you get divorced, you definitely want to get one. Once you have kids, you definitely want to get one. If you start to buy property, you want to definitely consider it there. And if you have any significant debt, well, also having a large investing apparatus or tool. So like a 401k, and I'm paying off student loans. I have a 401k. I want to figure out what to do next. These are triggers and signals where you might want to consider it, or you might want to start studying up on your own with financial books and things like that. So that is my long rant, my long neutral rant about the CFP, what it means, why it's important, and whether or not you should be interested in it or if you should seek someone out with that designation. My final point, I will say though, if you are going to a financial planner, you do want to ask specific questions. I would lean towards someone who has a designation than someone who does not. Even though I didn't when I was an advisor, I would still lean towards it, or someone who's at least gone through the course and curriculum, so they know what they know and that you can kind of verify that. Lastly though, any person you sit with on a financial basis, you do want to ask a lot of questions. And the way that you can judge whether or not any financial services person is for you and not the other way around is you want to ask questions. And when they are in that conversation, you should be talking 90% of the time and not the other way around. That's the most important thing that I can tell you, because if they're selling you insurance, right, this happens all the time. People will come and tell you about infinite banking, and they'll come and tell you about index universal life insurance or whole life policy and all sorts of kind of stuff. Every financial instrument has its purpose, but they'll come and they'll tell you all the things you need to do and why this is important and how much money it can make you, and just throw all this stuff at you over and over and over and over and over again and try to sell you and convince you that you need that service, that you need them, or that you need whatever it is. Here's the problem. If you are a good financial person and a good financial planner, you will not talk and you will ask questions of the client, and I want you, the viewer, the client, to speak to me, and I take that information and spit out a plan and spit out a solution for you. And if you are doing most of the talking, they should be listening, and that helps to create that plan. If it's the other way around, it's a sales pitch, and that's not what you need, because they don't know what's for you unless you are doing the talking, unless they are asking the questions. Same thing that we do here, right? If you are in public, for a fact, I sit down every month or so, maybe every 3 weeks, and say, hey, what are your questions? And we do videos on them, right? I don't do videos that y'all don't ask for, like this one. So that's how you can tell how credible a financial planner, or even a insurance person is how many questions they ask you. Same thing with a realtor. I don't want a realtor to come up and tell me about this house. I want them to say, what do you want in a house? How big do you want the house? What is your price range? All these things I should be telling them. They take that, they generate a list. Don't give me a list of houses and then just throw it at me, right? Don't give me insurance policy and throw it. Don't give me stocks and throw it at me. Same process I talk about in my course. I don't give you stock recommendations out the blue. We talk about what type of investor you are. You take a quiz, I teach you how to invest, and then based on how you are, there are like, what, 4 different lists to choose from based on who you are. Not just, hey, so I like, go get these things, right? So that's my long rant. It was longer than what I expected, but had to say all those things. All right, that is it for me. I will see y'all on Monday. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. That makes my job easier, but also makes my job more fun because I want to interact with y'all. This is y'all channel. Y'all tell me what to do, and that's what we do. All right, so I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.